Halloween
Forever.
Suck my spitting steel, sheethid. Welcome to another fucking Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm Steve.
And listen, if somebody got that quote right off the bat with my horrible accent, kudos to you. Or you know what? You probably looked at the fucking title of the episode you just clicked on. In any case, I'll let Meg talk about what we're gonna do tonight, because if you didn't listen to the last episode, which was our October Showdown John Carpenter roulette episode, your girl took home the belt, the strap.
Motherfucking champ is here.
Here, you know what?
I know. I get to be in proximity to the actual belt tonight. I'm
There
so
you go.
excited. I'm going to
Take
wear
your
it the
belt.
whole fucking night.
Take your belt, wear it around, flash it at Giant Eagle.
Am I alled to take it with me today?
You can, yeah,
I'm gonna
surely.
take it. I'm
All the
taking
rights
it.
and privileges of the champ. You do with it what you please. You can go, Darius Kasparaitis and chug beer and piss in it and do whatever the fuck.
This
Please
thing
don't
is
piss
huge,
it.
by
Yeah,
the way.
well, it's not. It doesn't hold liquid. It's a belt, but
It's kind of
This
fabricy.
thing
probably
It'll hold
is so
yes.
piss.
big.
yeah, you could leave it in the bottom of a Mario Lemieux swimming pool or whatever. Whatever they did with the cup back in the day. But
Every day for the rest of the month, I'm going to take a photo with it.
You should. Yeah, Steve and I completely missed that opportunity. No, I did. I took one picture. You took a picture of me early on, one of the first episodes with
Yeah,
it.
I
but
mean, you had
otherwise-
it for 2 months in a row.
I know,
too,
and I
man.
did not take advantage of it, unfortunately. I mean, I got my discount on the Chip Chop Tam down at Giant Eagle per the contractual agreement that we came to with Giant Eagle management, specifically Mario's Giant Eagle in Owens City. Like I said,
I
if
feel
you
like
listen
I'm
to
on
the John Carpenter,
I
Meg
feel like
took it
I'm
home.
on a Kennywood ride right now.
It's big. I mean, it's kind of big. Yeah,
You're
yeah,
buckled in. You're
Yeah,
fine.
you're also a foot shorter than both of us. I mean, Steve's like a foot taller than me, and I'm like a foot taller than you. So, yeah. This is not. It's not a one. It's a one size fits all belt. Yeah, pretty much.
One size fits most, I think,
yeah,
actually.
you could fit two of you in it. But in any case, Meg got to choose. For those of you who are new to the show, whoever wins that showdown episode and claims the fucking strap for the month, the very next episode gets to pick whatever movie they want to inflict on their fellow co-hosts. Meg was, I would argue, a kind and just champion, and gave us a pretty fun, enjoyable film, at least as far as I'm concerned. You want to talk about what you picked and why?
Yeah, I am a kind and generous leader.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what I'm gonna say.
Oh, not just a champ. You are leading. You're the
leader
Leonardo of the group now. You're the Jason, the Red Ranger. Okay.
She takes it as like we're some sort of like spinning monocracy or proletariat. Like
Yeah.
what?
She's like the newly appointed like magistrate
Yeah.
or
Well, I
something.
mean, you guys voted me in, so
Yeah, I guess she's taking
Guess
this
so.
as an elected title, like an
Right.
elected role. That's a different spin. It's a different.
and you
spin.
know what? It's October. It's got me feeling
There's
really
only a
good.
matter of time. I'm sure she starts like unjustly taxing us and things like that.
I'm gonna taxi these motherfucking Kit Kats here in a minute.
I'm gonna tax a shirt. I'm gonna tax these motherfucking Kit Kats. Anyway, all right, what are we watching?
All right, let me gain my composure here. I decided that we were gonna watch Peter Jackson's debut splatter gore movie,
Mhm.
fucking Bad Taste.
Yeah,
And it is so much fun. I love his early work when he was like getting into like doing all the horror stuff, because I feel like there's always this like humor to it. Like,
oh yes, very
Mhm.
much.
and it's so distinctive in like how it's shot. And in this one, I really beg the question of like, I wonder how much raw chicken they used in
Yeah.
the making of it.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah, and like insulation covered in petroleum jelly, covered in like actual like lamb brains or whatever
Right.
the fuck they use in New Zealand.
oh God, yeah.
But yeah, it is a goddamn splatterfest. It's a
Mhm.
lot of fun. It's got one of my favorite mask designs
Yeah.
of any
Yeah.
movie. I love it. I mean, that's like the star of the show. We'll get into it. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but it was a lot of fun to watch. This was probably, I've probably only seen this movie maybe like 3 times.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot either.
Yeah, but it,
Definitely
it,
not as much as Dead Alive.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Watch
true.
that
Dead,
one like a fiend.
Dead Alive, when we were like, that was a regular rental.
I probably
Very
would
good.
have chosen that one if I didn't want to hold that one for when we do a zombie one. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I had this dude I was hanging out with for a while. We were talking probably when I was like 18, 19, who
Mhm.
had that on VHS, like
Yeah,
the German release one, which right now that's Braindead.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I, after a certain period of time when he decided to fuck me over, I took it from him and
I'll
I
steal
kept
your
it.
shit. I'll keep your shit.
Yoink.
Yeah.
I'm a spiteful human being, I guess. And but then karma got me, and then another ex took it from me and never got it. You know what I mean? But
That's
it
how
was
it
cool.
goes.
But it I fell in love with that movie early on. You know?
The
Yeah.
jilted VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder where
It's
that
the
is these days.
Sisterhood of the Traveling VHS. I think that's a movie, isn't the Traveling Pants Sister of the Traveling?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the plot
You
of it. I
know
just
a
assumed
lot
it's
more than
something
I
like
do
that.
right now.
Sure.
In any case, all my traveling pants heads out there, shout out to you.
Traveling pumpkin heads. Let's go.
Let's talk about. Speaking of it, let's talk about some beerses. We got beerses in front of us.
I would like to say
Sadie.
I am how you would say under the influence, and I took your advice and I got the Sam Adams sweater pack because
yeah.
I saw it and I instantly felt cozy.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm getting this. For
You know what?
tonight.
And I fuck with Boston Lager.
Mhm.
Like it's so underappreciated. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
killer beer.
Mhm.
Problem is, you got to be able to find it fresh.
Mhm.
But when it's fresh, man, killer beer.
Hell yeah! So I'm drinking the Jacko Pumpkin Ale that you were drinking on the last
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
because I was just super intrigued, and it's really nice. And we started talking about it beforehand, but it has this really lovely like sweetness to it that's not like too cloying or like overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
it's just enough to make you want to like. I almost mildly wish that it was like warm, like.
Yeah, it's weird because when I find beers that are like spiced beers, and not just pumpkin ales, but like Christmas holiday themed, anything with like a pretty heavy like warming spice component, like mulling spices that have like kind of a eugenol warmth to them. Typically speaking, if they are really if they're lower gravity, they
Mhm.
tend to be quite highly attenuated, like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
dry finish,
Mhm.
and those spices tend to get like a little tannic.
Mhm.
And like harsh,
Mhm.
and this has enough body and enough sweetness to carry all that spice,
Mhm.
but it's still 4.4.
Yeah, it's
So
super
I
nice.
feel like I'm writing ad copy for them right
I'm
now,
pretty
but
sure
like
that they should be
pretty-
sponsoring us at this point.
yeah, it's just a fucking killer pumpkin ale. I like it a lot. Did you try the Fest beer in that pack yet?
I did. I
Yeah.
tried the Fest beer and the Oktoberfest
Yeah.
so far.
The
I mean,
Oktoberfest
yeah.
is what it is. Everyone
Yeah,
knows one. It's
no,
not
it's
my
nice.
favorite. It's kind of an Americanized Oktoberfest. It's like real caramely.
But yeah,
But the Fest beer was cool, I thought.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
had that before I came down here, like on my shifty, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
So I was sitting outside of the brewery I work for, drinking fucking Sam Adams beer.
You have an entire walk-in full of enormous quantities of beer. No, I know the feeling. Steve, what do you got?
I got Sadie.
Yeah, you do.
Mm,
Yeah. In the past, you had the Blake's Flannel Mouth,
Mhm.
and then I was at a
it's
Giant
terrible
Niggle,
name.
and I saw they had a bushel of Blake's,
Yeah.
and it's a whole bunch of fall flavored ones. They had the Flannel Mouth. They have a caramel apple. They
Mhm.
have a apple lantern pumpkin, and then the one I'm drinking is their apple pie.
Yeah.
Are they all pretty sweet too? Like
Yeah.
as first ciders,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, they're all pretty
I was-
sweet. This one isn't disgustingly sweet.
Mhm.
The caramel apple one is. It's like brought your teeth sweet,
Mhm.
but
Gotcha.
this one it's pretty decent. It has like a almost like a crackery finish on the back end, which
Nice.
is like what tastes like the crust.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, but
I remember I had that caramel apple one
Mhm.
last year, and I grabbed like a 6-pack of it, and I think there's probably still 2 in my beer fridge from last year. They tasted good, and I actually ended up, what I ended up doing with a couple of them is poaching pears in them,
Oh yeah,
and it
Mm.
was fucking great for
Yeah.
for,
Sounds
for a salad. But yeah, it was so candy sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't hate it. It's just I can only drink one of them.
Yeah, same.
But this one I can drink a little more, and then like Flannel Mouth I can drink more of.
Yeah, for sure. I am going with a big boy. Another. We're also spooky and seasonal in our choices this week. I've got a perennial favorite of mine, a beer that I've been drinking for a long time. Nosferatu by Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland, Ohio. We were kind of making comment. It's pretty funny. They've been brewing this beer for like probably 15 years.
Mhm.
Easy.
And it is started out. They called it. I think they used to just call it. I'm not 100%, but if I recall, they just called it an American Strong Ale because it
Okay.
was just this big, intense, hoppy, bitter
Yeah.
imperial ale. and then they switched to an Imperial, I think they called it an Imperial Red Ale. Now this year it's in 16-ounce cans, 4-pack 16-ounce cans, and it's called an Imperial Red IPA.
Yeah.
Which is, you know what, that is what it is. You know what I mean? It's just funny that it's a great beer and I love it. I drink it every year. It's a very throwback old school beer, something akin to like an Arrogant Bastard, where it's just like a big caramel malt bomb with an intense IBU level, like really high perceived bitterness, and just smack you in the face, kind of classic American strong ale. But the fact that IPA is on the label now, it'll probably sell like 40% better this year.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and also
100%.
the redesign of the label is fucking
see it?
sick. Yeah, I'll put a picture of it on there.
Oh,
like,
that is dope.
it is. I'll put a picture of it up rather than try to describe it. But it's. I mean, listen, they did a Dunkelweizen a while back with like cocoa and
Wasn't it
orange
cocoa and
peel.
orange? Yeah, cocoa and orange.
The beer was hot trash.
was all right.
Tastes like Band-Aids. Like the phenolics were way over the top. And that's a hard fucking style, but the phenolics were through the roof. It tasted like plastic to me.
We have nurture versus nature here.
Yeah. Listen, I'm harsh. Steve's nice. I'm not nice.
It was all right. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I didn't go back for it, but it did reel me in because it had a werewolf.
Well, that's the thing. I would have bought it anyway.
Right.
Even if I knew I wasn't going to like it, I would have bought it because of the sick werewolf on the label. It was like a really
Sick
rad
werewolf,
artwork.
bro.
Yeah, you put a sick ass werewolf, you put a fucking skeleton army on anything. It doesn't matter. I'll buy it.
You'll sell
I'll
a
buy it.
skeleton army.
Yeah, it could just be a bag of broken glass in a cereal box, and if it's got a sick ass skeleton army or a werewolf or something, I'm fucking buying it.
I remember having like Nosferatu though, like way back in 2009.
Yeah,
before like I was really into craft beer even,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember hating it because it was too much.
Oh, it's the bitterness is really, really, really intense. But yeah, I remember drinking it in college. I went to college in Ohio, and I remember when I was managing. I turned 21 when I was managing a comedy club. And I remember we had it on draft at the bar. And I remember sitting there like watching like open mic night, drinking pints of this, and needing a ride home because I was completely fucked up.
It's a very kind way to say that you're real fucked up.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
real.
that.
Yeah, I needed a ride home. I actually wasn't fucked up. I went blind. No,
That's
I'm
why
just
you have
kidding.
glasses now.
Yeah. Somebody threw acid in my face. It was a whole thing.
I hope that if your kids ever get to a point where they're like, "Why do you have to wear glasses?" I don't know if your kids do or not. That'd be a really funny story to tell them.
Listen, I had a run-in with Nosferatu. No more explanation required. Vampire.
2010 Nosferatu had a lot of methanol in it.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
Turns out he poisoned me. All right, we've got an interesting selection of spookies and of spicies. Let's jump into this. Meg, I will give you the choice because you're very excited about the spooky, and I have a feeling you're not excited about the spicy.
I've been actually actively not acknowledging its existence.
Yeah, so I will let you choose. I feel like maybe...
I'm going spicy first.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going spicy first.
Okay.
Well, I just want to have... Can I have the spooky on deck?
You can have the spooky on deck, but I would...
I feel like
if
you're
it
not
were
going to
me...
taste the spooky.
Yeah, if it were me, I would take the spooky first. That way you can have the full range of flavor. Because I know
I'm
for
here
sure you're going
to try to like make sure I'm taken care of, and I feel like if I do the spicy second, I'm gonna have to go back to the spooky anyway to calm my palate.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Hey, listen, we gave you the choice.
You know, I understand how
you've
pairings
spoken.
work.
Fair enough.
I understand how pairings work. This is what we call a 1 + 1 = 3. It's an elevated pairing experience. So I'll explain as we kind of get things ready here. First of all, the spookies that we have.
What's that?
Oh, you didn't even know about that part?
I did not
That's
know
the
about
whole
that.
part. Okay,
I'm
I'll
dipping
explain.
the Kit Kat in it.
Yeah, so we have that's an aggressive move. So we have two things here. We actually have three things rather. So first of all, we have the pumpkin pie flavored Kit Kats, which I posted something about on the Instagram a while ago, and I've eaten a whole fucking bag of these. So I love these. I really, and I'm not even a white chocolate fan, but because there's a white chocolate on the outside, you'll see I thought they were fantastic. Steve is inflicting upon us Wendy's spicy chicken Pringles, but here's the real showstopper. We have Uncle Jammy's Your Arrogance Amuses Me fiery and fruity spicy barbecue sauce. So it's not a straight up fuck your face up hot sauce. I mean, I'm sure it's hot.
Yeah.
But it's a barbecue sauce, which is going to suggest to me it's got quite a bit of sugar.
Yeah.
So it's going to offset it just a little bit.
Yeah, it's very syrupy, and it has like a lot of brown sugar in it. But Uncle Jamal, he started making just basically barbecue sauce on his own in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I feel like his name was really familiar.
Yeah, and he started making barbecue sauce on his own, and then he started selling through First Sip Brew Box pretty early on, but then like caught on to Giant Eagle. Okay. And so now he's in Giant Eagles, and then
I've seen the bottle. Yeah.
I like how you added an S to Eagle.
Yeah. He's in the Giant Eagles.
Yeah, down to Giant Eagles. That's some real ass Yinzer shit.
I mean, he was probably using the plural actually, but I heard it as like
Giant Eagles.
Yeah, we're going down. You can get it down Giant Eagles. Yeah. My brother, who's moved to Nashville, and when he comes back, he forgets the Yinzer accent and how intense it can be.
Yeah.
And then he'll catch me say something like that, like, "Hey, gotta go run down Giant Eagles. You gonna come down there with me or not?" And he's like, "Jesus Christ." I was like, yes. Especially after a couple beers, I slide right into the Yinzer accent.
I think it's a curse for everyone. Because I think in general, we all we're eloquently spoken.
For the most part, yeah.
But I guarantee any one of us gets drunk and it turns right in. Hey, he's okay, dude. Gumban.
Oh yeah, and I also take on what I just say Gumban. Hey, you just want to run a sweep up all them Gumban.
Every time honestly, every time I order an Iron City, I instantly just start talking like, I'm just like, I need that Iron City.
Hey, 5 irons.
5 irons.
So, I'm
gonna try to chip on its own.
How are we eating that sauce? Like, am I just?
Can
I just like put my whole hand in it?
Yeah, I mean that would be aggressive play, but you know what?
The thought was dip the chip.
Yeah, I want to try the chip on its own first, just because I do want to try a spicy chicken Pringle.
Yeah.
Right. They are. It's mild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is the spice mild, but the
I feel like I'm about to get real cocky
in general.
with
I feel like that's a Pringles thing, though.
Yeah,
Most of the Pringles are like fairly mild, but it's good though.
Yeah, that's why I heard about it, and it's just like I am a fiend for the Wendy's chicken sandos.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's
literally my single favorite fast food item. Mm-hmm. Is honestly probably the Popeyes fucking chicken sandwich. Like I know it's blasphemous, it's real fucking good too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, spicy chicken sandwich.
I even like the new Burger King one.
I haven't had it yet.
The new Burger King one.
I haven't had that one.
I fuck with.
I still go for the OG one all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super tame and mild.
Right. Which I heard that about it.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I was about to feel real cocky with it and be like, "Come at me, bro."
So I'm gonna try to not spill this on myself. It's very molassesy. It's definitely got a slow build of a kind of heat to it.
Mm-hmm. I just like hit my throat. I like swallowed and it hit my throat. I was like, "Oh God."
Meg when she eats it is like.
It was a total involuntary response.
Yeah,
of her head just jerked to the side of.
She makes a lot of. We said this before. When she eats spicy things, she's got very low tolerance for spicy things. She's getting better, but she absolutely has a lot of involuntary sounds and movements that happen. Like the one time she was eating it. For those of you who've been listening for a while, you might remember she was eating something. I don't remember, something spicy, and she ate it. She was like, "Okay, that's not too bad." Oh no. And just had an involuntary whole episode there.
That might have been the Carolina Reaper nuts.
Yeah, those were fucking legit hot. Like those were the hottest things.
That might have also. It could have been also the jerky. The jerky was
I
also.
love watching you try to like hold it together.
Holding it together
because you're like very solemn mouth, but your eyes are little half moons, and you're like,
yeah, her eyes are half moons.
They're
and
definitely
she's staring
watering
at the ceiling,
right
like she's finding a point to focus on.
She's like, "This is how I normally look." Just squinting her entire face into a 6-inch round area.
Sign.
It's all good. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I'm good. This is good. This is great. I love it.
This definitely builds.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as I thought.
It's not as bad as I thought.
I actually can't. It's actually I could do it again.
It's definitely got some heat.
Yeah.
But it's not the Carolina Reaper nuts were definitely the hottest. And I one night ate. I think I mentioned this before, like half of that can, and it forked up my stomach.
Yeah.
You know what though? If like you took a little bit of that heat out though, I would fucking fuck that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, not all of the sauces are like that at all.
Yeah.
It's just that one.
I also just had this like instinctual thought that I want some chicken wings with it on it, and just to douse it fucking in.
It's very much like a classic. The base, it's like a thinner, slightly more vinegary, obviously much hotter, like almost like a Casey masterpiece type of thing,
Little
like
bit, yeah.
where it's like molasses and brown sugar and that very classic sticky sweet, but with more balance from the heat and a little bit more vinegar balance. It's not anywhere near as sweet as like Casey masterpiece, but it's in that area of the cosmos in terms of barbecue.
Anyone
sauces.
else find it just be slightly awkward to like have a potato type thing have this like meaty chickeny type character? I don't know.
It tastes like chicken bouillon.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So yeah, I definitely get that.
I've been eating chicken in a biscuit
for
crackers
a
long time.
Good,
so
dude, I love those.
That's not new to me.
Yeah, I will.
These for
literally
whatever reason are a
sprinkle
little
chicken
odd to me. I don't know why. Like, because I love chicken biscuit like crackers and stuff like that. I'll even I got like the vegan chicken spice from Trader Joe's, and I'll put it on like chickpeas all the time.
Has it got like yeast extract or something in it, or autolyzed yeast extract in it? Yeah, that stuff's good. Yeah. No, I could sprinkle chicken ramen stuff on my cereal. I love that shit.
It's funny though, going back, like you mentioned, Arrogant Bastard as an old style beer.
Yeah,
and that's actually part of the Your Arrogance Amuses Me sauce.
Oh, that's cool.
He makes Your Arrogance Amuses Me with Arrogant Bastard.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
and then he has another sauce called Hooray
Shout
for
out
IPA.
to Uncle Jammies. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll
Let's
like
be
his
friends.
other sauce, Meg, because Hooray for IPA is made with 2 times.
What's that?
2 times
Oh,
IPA.
2x IPA.
2 times. Yeah.
Oh, I don't harbor any hate. They're my homies.
Okay. Yeah, he makes it 2 times IPA. Yeah.
I'll definitely seek that out. I like that a lot. I could definitely, like I said, I could definitely throw that on some wings, some fried somethings.
Yeah,
I could fuck with it on like an egg roll or something like that.
Yeah,
that's actually a good call. Yeah, I have this like weird thing about loving barbecue sauce and ranch dressing because that is like a mild Yinzer thing to love.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like with that being so spicy, it would probably actually like do really well, like even doing like a barbecue ranch with it.
It cuts really well with mayo as well.
Yeah.
Yep. My youngest has discovered ranch, so now it's ranches on everything. And she actually, we finally figured out what our Halloween costumes are going to be. Her and my youngest and my wife are going to be, because this was my daughter's idea, they are going to be the like block guys from what's the fucking video game that
Minecraft?
Minecraft.
Okay.
So they're going to be like Minecraft people. My daughter's never played Minecraft.
Okay.
She doesn't really even know what it is. She's 5.
Yeah.
She definitely doesn't really know what it is. She just knows it's a thing, and she likes the look of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be Minecraft characters.
That's cute.
My oldest and I are going to be skeletons. She wanted to be
Nice.
glow in the dark skeleton.
Heck
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, you know what? It's not the most intricate costume in the world, but it's easy, and
I feel
she
the
wants to
slight
do it.
disappointment in your voice.
Well, no, because it's like it took them forever to pick what they were going to be,
Okay.
and she saw this like zip up suit with like a mask, like that was all glow in the dark skeleton, and she was like, "Let's do that," and I'm like, "Okay."
Are you
cool.
gonna spice it up a little bit and like get those like the light up coils? Like the bendy.
Oh!
almost-
I've seen those because I've seen people make like masks and stuff out of those.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. I'll
It's
have to take a peek. I have not ordered mine yet. I ordered hers, but it was just like a kid's costume, and I need to find mine.
Yeah. That's cool.
Maybe I'll go like Rave Danzig with it, and I'll I'll do a devil lock or something like
Oh
that.
my gosh, please.
All right.
But get a hair extension.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've got enough for the devil lock anymore. Once
I just
upon
want
a
to
time,
see you clip a fucking hair extension in your hair to do it.
there are pictures of me with a mohawk and with a devil lock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At some point in my
We need
life,
to
floating around there.
uncover these.
Yeah, I could definitely find the mohawk picture. I know where that is. But
That's real Patreon content.
yeah.
Yeah.
The devil lock was it was not a fully intentional devil lock. It was a very long floppy mohawk that I would just pull forward.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't a fully dedicated
You're
devil
such
lock.
a fucking emo kid. I
yeah,
bet you.
so a poser. Any case, let's get these spookies here. These are the pumpkin pie flavored Kit Kats.
This orange color just makes me feel things. Like it just reminds me of like, holiday crafts, craft candy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can box with that.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
I don't like white
shit.
chocolate normally. I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not a big white chocolate fan. But this is, I feel like they nailed the level. It
because
has a
I
graham
said it,
cracker
I'm gonna
kind of
do
taste to
it.
it. What's that? If you're nasty, Meg, you can't see. Meg is dipping the pumpkin pie Kit Kat into the spicy barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I don't fucking hate it.
Yeah. Listen, there's plenty of barbecue sauces out there with chocolate in it.
Yeah.
It's too
Plenty
sweet
of them with
to
cinnamon,
like really
with nutmeg,
get
with clove.
the flavor of it. It's just more so some heat. That's
Right.
just me.
Yeah. Those are okay. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wore myself out on them because I bought a bag of them and just cranked through it. And just over the course of like a week, just ate like the whole freaking bag. So I'm a little bit over them, but overall, I was pretty pleased with them. But okie dokie.
Hell yeah, motherfucker.
We got the spookies,
Yes.
we got the spicies, we got the beersies out of the way, which means it is time to talk about this flick. It's about time to talk about
Or
bad
social
taste.
media.
Oh yeah, maybe we can do social media
It's time for other things.
because I forget all the time.
There's also something else after social media.
Well, let me do social media and think about what that other thing is because I don't know. So first of all, as always, if you don't already, we mentioned before, we're getting a lot of new listeners, which is fantastic. Every single month, we have you vote on our main showdown episode, the topic. Also, always open to any and all suggestions. Steve's looking at me like what I'm forgetting, and I don't remember. So I'm just going to say my things, and then he can remind me what I forgot. So send out our way suggestions for any type of episodes, whether they be minisodes, whether they be main episodes. But it is easiest to do so on the Instagrams at Halloween is Forever, at Hallow Forever on Twitter, Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook, at
Halloween is Forever pod.
Halloween is Forever pod is the old TikTok. By the way, went on the TikTok for like maybe 5 minutes today,
God.
scrolling
How'd you feel
around,
about that?
terrified. I shut it off. There's a lot of people singing, lip syncing.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I can't wait to get you into one of those.
there was a lot of stuff going on. I didn't like any of it. I retreated immediately.
We're gonna learn it. We're all gonna learn one dance together.
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I left, and I may never open the app again. So if you check out the TikTok, Meg's doing all that because I'm scared of it. And then also at Halloween is Forever pod on Gmail if you want to send an email. What did I forget?
It's time to pick what we'll be voting on.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Okay, yeah.
Wow, that happened fast.
That did happen fast.
Yeah,
I
we're back to the
totally
wheel.
forgot. I can't believe we did that.
Spin that wheel.
We're back to the wheel.
So this is how we do it, right? For those of you who are new, we go ahead and we have this running list of all these topics. They can be subgenres of horror. They can be, it could be a particular performer. I don't care. There are a lot of different creative, different topics to choose from, some of which we came up with, many of which were suggested to us by listeners and social media friends. We are going to pick 3 randomly from that list per Steve's little fancy roulette wheel on his phone. We'll put it out on the social medias, and you can pick which of the 3 we want that we're going to discuss for the slightly less spooky, but also a lot of cool, relevant things we could talk about in the month of November. And then we will each pick a movie that we feel represents that particular topic in a way that we want to argue about. So you got that wheel ready, and we'll give her a little spinny spin.
It hurt us before, but we'll see how it does.
I know.
today.
This wheel and me are not on fucking good terms. Here it comes. Pick number 1 that you get the opportunity to choose from on the social
nice.
medias.
We were just talking.
Oh, werewolf flicks.
Oh,
That would
nice.
be
That'd be
fantastic. One of my favorite genres. Some of my favorite movies
That's a good
are
one.
werewolf flicks. You could go old, you could go new, you could go traditional, non-traditional, you could go silly, comedy horror, you could go super dark. A lot of cool werewolf flicks out there.
There's a couple of ones that have been coming out as of late.
I
Seems
know,
like
I feel like
werewolves are on the rise.
Little bit of a resurgence of
Ooh.
werewolf flicks. And number 2,
Ooh.
these are some fun
Man,
ones.
November's gonna be
Haunted
fun.
houses. Some of my favorite, and this is one
is gonna be
where
hard.
there would be a lot of semantic arguments.
There would be.
with haunted
Okay,
houses.
well, we'll break it down.
Yeah.
We
figure
will
it-
give our parameters.
The audience
Listen,
has to
my
pick it
blood
first.
pressure's already going up. I'll flip this fucking table, guys. Haunted houses, number 2. That's a fun combination. Let's see with number 3. Maybe we'll get a little.
Ooh, okay. It is the Little Monsters.
I like this. So, Little Monsters.
Oh, fun.
And let me read the rest of it there. It says, it's Little Monsters. Obviously a take on the Nicktoon there. Very, very clever. You're very welcome for that fantastic reference. That would be anything with kind of tiny little baddies associated with it. Things like gremlins and ghoulies and munchies and critters and all that
Puppet
sort of
Master.
thing. Yeah, absolutely.
All 15 Puppet Master
They're on the
films are on
table.
table.
There's a lot of things on the table there. I think that one, if I had to guess, predict which one will do well is probably that one, but we shall see. And frankly, with November come up, I can think of a couple of those right off the bat that do have some like vaguely holiday or in some instances direct kind of holiday themes
Gremlins
associated.
for sure.
The Gremlins is the obvious one.
Might be wearing that. Yeah.
Oh yes, that's Gremlin. That's a new batch situation there, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure Critters 3 occurs over Arbor Day.
That's true. Classic Arbor Day movie.
Yeah.
But Meg is wearing a Greta Gremlin shirt.
Yeah.
In any case, 3 very fun ones. I'm excited to see what people vote on for that. So you'll see that on the social medias in the coming days. So follow us if you want to give it a real vote. Okay. Did I do all my things that I should have done? Okay, good.
We can now do the movie.
Okay. We also watched a movie.
We're now 2 hours into the show.
Yeah. That's how it goes. Listen, if you don't like tangents and bullshit, probably not the show for you.
Also learn how to fast forward.
Yeah. Fast forward, you dummy.
Snacks, beer, and movie. Okay, I'm good to go.
Yeah, eventually movies. Yep. So, Meg is cracking another beer. Here, I'll open it for you. You start out, and I'll provide some value here for you. And serve
like I said in the beginning, this was Peter Jackson's first feature film, and I just have to say, I feel like after just kind of revisiting it, I don't really think I realized like how punk as fuck Peter Jackson is. You know, I feel like this definitely showcased like how DIY he was with, and like going back into like reading more into the process of creating this movie, it was cool to think like or see how long it took for them to make it. They said it took like about 4 years for them to actually get done with it.
Oh wow.
A lot of the special effects, like, you know, all the costumes that I love the alien. Like the alien is so fucking dope. He used his mom's oven to make that, like those actual special effects and like costumes for it, and I thought that was just kind of cute. And I also think it's cool because he was like 22 when he made it, so it kind of reminded me of all the films, like if you were into like making films when you were in high school, like this is exactly what it was. So you're like, what do we have in our fridge? Oh, mom's chicken over here, you know, like let's make brains.
Yeah.
And just a side note, fun things, like it sounded like he must have been like kind of building this up or working with people, because to get the film done, I mean, he initially had invested about $25,000, but worked with the New Zealand Film Commission, and they helped with like $235,000.
I was going to say, this is a government-funded film.
Yeah.
That's
it's
pretty
so
fucking
wild.
cool. Man,
Yeah.
Who'da thunk? Who'da thunk?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Well, they're very
Who'da thunk?
progressive and cool with that sort of stuff.
A lot of countries are like that. I also think like Australia and Canada, they have like film boards that pay for wild shit.
Yeah, especially if I know the Canadian, I don't know if it's called the Canadian Film Commission, but it's like, especially if you have like a majority like Canadian actors and things like that, you get a bunch of grants from the state. Another little weird bit of trivia I found out about this movie, it was actually heavily influenced, or it was a heavy influence, and it inspired Ghosts of Mars, actually. Just kidding, I just made that up, sorry.
Fuck you.
Bullshit.
Yeah, listen, it was the original theme for Ghost.
I'm upset at that bad joke.
It's not good. All right, let's pretend it didn't happen.
Not true. Don't you ever besmirch Peter Jackson like that again.
Ghosts of Mars is weighing heavy on my brain. So
He's still not over it.
no, it was tough. It's tough. It's been a tough couple weeks for me.
Had to watch it. Had to defend it.
Had to talk about it.
Yeah, touching on, again, another like little note about it. It said that Peter Jackson was pretty heavily influenced by Tom Savini, our hometown hero, which was great. Again, I already kind of noted that, like, about the whole humor part of it, because I just feel like it also becomes funny with you when you notice how ridiculous everything gets over time. You're like, they take the gore factor, but because they take it that extra step, I think is what also makes it funny. But also this movie, it started off that first scene where that's Lord Crumb, like kind of just being like, go here, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't actually touch anything with his fingers at all. And I found that fucking hilarious. And I don't know if you guys noticed when he had the finger with the cigarette attached with a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Again, just like little things
Such
like
a strange
that.
decision.
Right.
Yeah. You're just like, why? And all I can think about it is like, it's just like he probably thought it was just fucking funny.
Yeah, it's just like a little, basically like a little like poking stick kind of thing, but it's just one single finger.
Right, yeah.
Like human finger that he's dialing like the phone with, or what is, it's not a phone, it's a like a typewriter or something, doesn't he? So,
it's like some sort of intercom system or something.
I forget,
But I think it's the next scene that they somebody calls on the phone,
Yeah.
and they're looking for who to call.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it goes like 911, the Queen, and then the boys. It's like, gotta call in the boys.
The boys. This paranormal, I would assume New Zealand equivalent of like super yinzers, like 80s super yinzers.
Right, yeah.
Like with a Mustang.
That was
listen
definitely
to heavy
this.
metal.
It's somehow
For sure.
government-funded yinzers.
Somehow they're a paramilitary organization. Actually, no, that's not true. He specifically says we're not.
Right,
a
yeah, he says we're
paramilitary.
not, even though he's reading the other guy's reading
and
Soldier
honestly,
of
and not to
Fortune.
get ahead of ourselves, but when he says the name of the government organization they're a part of, I could not make out what he was saying. I even rewound it.
So he says because so just quickly to set up, we have 4 guys in this group.
Yeah.
There's Derek, who's actually played by Peter Jackson,
Mhm.
and then there's Ozzy, and
Wait, Derek's not Peter Jackson.
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
is.
is. Yeah,
The guy with the
Yep,
that's Peter Jackson.
that
Yeah.
is. He
Oh.
played both
plays 2 roles.
that and
Oh.
Robert, the
You're the guy who
one
eats the
alien.
brains with a spoon.
yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
wow! I didn't. My
Yeah.
God, I
It
watched
took
this
me a
movie
minute
3
to be
times. I
like-
didn't realize Derek was Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So he's got the fake teeth,
yeah.
and he what got rid of the beard or whatever?
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
I guess?
'Cause
Well,
Okay.
they filmed them totally separate times. Too.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
He like never shares a scene with almost anybody else except
Yeah.
for like
Yeah,
other
because
aliens.
he's up on the cliff. I mean, this
Mhm.
makes sense now that you guys are saying this, but now I feel stupid because I didn't realize that. But I
It's
remember,
okay.
like, in his other scenes, you're like, oh, fuck, that's Peter Jackson. It
Right.
looks
Mhm.
like him. Like,
Yeah,
when he's
yeah.
eating the brains with a spoon,
Mhm.
you're
Right.
like, that looks like a young
There's
Peter
also
Jackson.
a lot of other guys that look like Peter Jackson in the film.
That's
Just like
true, too.
long hair and beards.
Barry, if you had told me that
Yeah.
was Peter Jackson,
Yeah,
I probably
yeah.
would have
Barry
believed
looks
you
like
too.
it. The guy who is kind of like the Leatherface callback.
Oh, yeah.
Like the chef. He looks like Peter Jackson, but
Oh,
big.
yeah,
He's a
Yeah.
bit, yeah. You're
Yeah.
totally right.
Yeah, so it's Derek, it's Ozzy, it's
Frank.
and Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy that comes to town that's like with the charity, Giles.
Right.
Giles? You say Giles or Giles?
Probably
Say
Giles.
Yeah.
Giles. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But they Ozzy and Frank are on the radio with Derek.
Yeah.
And Derek says, "We are part of the Astro
Investigation and Defense Service.
There you go.
Astro. I could not
Yeah.
figure out what the fuck he was saying. He was
Yeah.
saying Astro.
But it
Yeah,
was kind
true.
of like that sort of thing where
Right.
it had
Yeah.
that like
and then
military
I think it was
we
like,
watch out for aliens.
Yeah.
Is kind of what.
right.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Frank, and he's just like, "I wish we could change that name."
Yeah.
Because the acronym is AIDS.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even make that
yeah.
connection.
Well,
Okay.
if you didn't hear that it was Astro.
No, I could not figure out he was saying Astro. Okay.
Yeah, so they basically were sent in to investigate a disappearance of the entire population in, how would you say, is it Kaihoro?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I would
think
say
it's
it.
like Kaihura. We hear Kaihura.
Yeah, you're probably better
Just keep
at
your mouth open and
impressions.
move it around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kaihura. Sorry
Got a bunch
to
of
all our
Kiwis
new
here.
Yeah. Sorry to our
Wait, is that
Kiwi listeners.
is that a
Yeah.
slur at all?
What, Kiwi?
Yeah, no,
no,
I,
that's
yeah.
not a slur. They like
No,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
I learned that from Roundabout, from Diana Roundabout. I was like,
Yeah.
is that like a okay to say thing? She's like, oh yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling. I was like, maybe I'll confirm this.
It's probably a good thing to confirm. Yeah, I hear
Don't
you.
call Australians Kiwis, though. They'll get mad at that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
don't
That
matter.
seems too
Yes.
close to too
They're
close for
they're
comfort.
descendants of criminals.
That's like
and rapists.
people comparing us to people in Philly. Like, I can't tell you how many people. So just in the beer industry, when I have other people coming to Philly, they'll get a hold of me and be
Same.
like, "Hey, are you going here?" And I'm like, "That's on the other side of the state." And they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah."
When I'm traveling for
I'm
work,
a little offended.
people will say all the time, like, hey, where do you live? And I'll be like, oh, I live in Pittsburgh, which I don't live in Pittsburgh. I live close enough. It's easier to explain it that way.
Yeah.
I live in Pittsburgh. And they'll say, oh, I've been to Philadelphia once. And I'll be like, that's not Pennsylvania. That's
Right.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's not, that is fully fucking New Jersey.
Yeah,
If you've ever
they-
been.
Or call people from Philly like New Yorkers or something, or just be like, "You're just not New York."
It's
Yeah, they'll
literally
get
a
fucking
quick
pissed.
train ride. But yeah, we are like 6 hours from,
Right.
from
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Way
We're,
separated.
we're about equal distant. I always tell people, like, where I live is equal distant between Philadelphia and Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we have way more Chicago tendencies than
oh,
not.
100%. Much more Midwest.
More
Whereas-
roguies.
Philadelphia, a lot more Rogies, way more Midwest. Philadelphia is East Coast,
Yeah.
straight up East Coast.
Roguies,
Mhm.
brats.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, let me try to find my spot again. I'm like real bad at like reviewing these movies because I just like, oh shit, where am I?
Things were happening. We were talking about how they're investigating the disappearance of the town.
I found my spot. Yeah, okay. I don't need you to tell the story like I did on the last episode. I'm still feeling very shameful about that. So they found that the town was run over by man-eating space aliens disguised as humans in blue shirts, which I just kind of like these characters in ways because when Barry meets the first one, he's just like, you halt, you stop. And I'm just like, dude, this is like the most unaggressive and I also think that aids in like some of the humor of it, of like almost how awkward and slow or like purposeful they have to be with like some of their exaggerated movements and stuff.
They're very like loosey goosey, like arms flailing and
well, I feel like when something tense is happening as well, like Peter Jackson's really good about like doing those like shaky camera movements. Oh yeah,
like, I mean, you see it in Braindead. Yeah, it almost like makes you feel nauseous at a time. Like it's so much shaky camera movement happening.
For sure. So Barry kills that first guy very early on. And I also found it really funny of like how he tried to get rid of the body. He's just like tossing it on the side of the road. I'm like, this is some like Hillside Strangler type fucking vibes going on.
Well, don't need this now. Somebody else will pick it up.
And then, and like, you kind of realize they have this very hive mind, like, you know, but I thought it was a little odd that the guys like didn't come attack him immediately versus like just wait for him to walk by. Yeah. But yeah, so Barry gets attacked by all of these aliens in blue shirts, and then he gets away though, which again, I felt like I kept on like getting focused on some of the cinematography because I found it so funny. Like the point of like the shot where they're like, he dropped his fucking gun, he dropped his fucking radio. You know, like it was so
everything develops like really slowly and dramatically and stuff. Yeah, it's funny because the villains, and later on when they like transform and stuff, it's a little bit more. It makes a little bit more sense. Mm-hmm. But at this point, you're like, are they zombies?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because they act more like zombies, like fast-ish zombies.
Right.
Not really. Sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're not. But then also, they seem dumb. I don't know. So they seem like their brain isn't totally functioning. That's why that's the most zombie part of them. Like but they're supposed to have mastered like interstellar travel. But they're morons. Yeah.
But like there's also the other part of it where like it almost comes across, and they kind of touch on it in the movie, of like it seems like they might not even be aliens or zombies.
Yeah.
They might just be like escaped criminals, which is why they're all dressed the same.
Yeah, but then later they do say like, I know it's very uncomfortable for you to stay in these disgusting human forms. You know, we'll eventually transition back.
I really hope Peter Jackson could come out and talk about this movie again and say that he was influenced by convicts, because that would be really
I would say it's, to me, and this is how I justified it, that it was almost like they were in like Edgar suits.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like from Men in Black.
The
alien is like jammed in this meat sack, so he can't move in the same way. So it's almost like they were all in Edgar suits.
Yeah.
Like that's how I took it. But it otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
It's just funny though, because they do radio in to Frank and Ozzy, who haven't reached the town.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, I got one by the foot. And it's like, and Barry killed another. And then they're like, well, what do they look like? Well, they look like people. Yeah. It's like, are you just killing people? Or what do you what?
Well, and also the part where Derek is like a vindictive son of a bitch.
Yeah.
To the point where like he's got the guy hanging upside down. Like, you know, he's dead to rights, but he still hammers like a knife.
It's a bayonet.
Dagger through his foot. I'm like,
oh my God. Did you also die laughing when he was howling that entire time? Like he's getting real off on this.
Yeah.
So Kate wasn't watching this movie at all. She was completely doing something different on her computer. And every once in a while she would just go, Jesus Christ, just from the sounds.
Yeah, I have noises, that as a note.
Here's what this movie sounds like.
And also then add
Like,
farting sounds too.
Yeah, a lot of burping and farting
Yeah.
and squishing and squashing.
Yeah.
It's like someone who's like going clam digging and they're stuck in the mud. Like
Yeah.
that's the soundtrack.
Running through a mucky beach to dig clams.
I know we're beginning your head, but like when they're eating that like vomit,
Yeah.
that was like the pinnacle.
I have a question about that. Yeah, that was a pretty gross scene.
Yeah.
But like, so he's drinking. So it looks like some sort of like Nickelodeon gag type of thing. But he's
Yeah.
explaining there's all these gross, like, well, Peter Jackson, one of the Peter Jackson characters, basically vomits this all up.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then the head guy, which you said his name,
Lord Crumb.
Lord Crumb, is like, hey, our real monsters. We talked about Lord Crumb. Crumb's
Ah,
the-
there you
Yeah.
all you Nicktoons heads out there know what I'm talking about. Anyway, when he like barfs it up and he's like, an excellent bouquet, he's talking about it or whatever. The guy, one of the Mustang doofuses, gets down the line and they're all looking at him to drink it. When he drinks it, he's like, oh my God, it's going to be so disgusting. But then he likes it.
And then he goes back for seconds.
And he goes back for seconds, but then they never address it.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it is pretty good. I mean, it kind
Maybe.
of has like
Yeah.
this cute pastel color. Maybe it's just like super. Maybe you know what it is? It looks like one of those like marshmallow, like Jello.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
it looks like
snacks.
church basement Jello salad.
Yeah, yeah.
with whipped cream. in
That
it, or
somebody's
Cool Whip.
punched because
Yeah.
it is all like crumbly. But yeah.
Yeah.
It's all yeah. Are we supposed to understand that is like they eat the humans and then regurgitate that?
Maybe.
Yeah, like an insect kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
to create, because I think the whole point is that the aliens are going to sell this to other aliens.
Yeah, we
Right.
really didn't get to that point about why they're actually
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah,
And
whenever
ultimately,
I
have like a good quote on like describing like why they're really there. And it's pretty much, let me see. So yeah, indulgent gorefest about aliens who plan to harvest humans for their intergalactic fast food empire. Like,
Yeah.
so that gives you
I
the
was
premise
like,
of
where
what's
did
going
that
on.
come from? I've seen this movie 3 times. I heard nothing about a fast food empire.
It's in there.
Yeah.
I just must have completely
Yeah.
missed it. The
Yeah.
dialogue.
Maybe I think it was when Giles was in like the was in the like the soup basically.
Yeah,
They were
it's-
like really giving it away
yes,
there.
they were talking about how they're going to sell him. Well, they said how
Like,
he's going to be a feast for them the
Yeah.
next day.
Right.
But ultimately, it is some sort of business idea.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fast food, like I don't ever remember them specifically saying like a fast
They,
food
they
chain.
may not say fast food, but it is like pretty. It is pretty clear that it's a corporation.
that they're
and
coming
they're-
to harvest humans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're
Yes.
boxing up humans like they would, meat that you
Yes.
would see at McDonald's.
Right,
and
right.
so
I just don't see how like I don't think they do enough to explain their 5-year plan.
right.
I know. I mean, this is not a sound business model. Like, how are you going to hit EBITDA numbers when you have to travel the whole way to? Anyway.
Plus, honestly, management seems pretty low. There's only Lord Crumb,
yeah,
and then I guess the chef is
You
his
know,
own
maybe
department.
it's
it's a
control
very shallow
problems.
organization.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then just everybody else's seems to be like work for hire.
Yeah,
you know,
just
like,
a bunch of dipshits who puke into.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
Balls.
think that's the dream is like you just want a bunch of mindless worker bees just to do your bidding and just
Yeah.
like do
Fair
what you
enough.
ask.
You can tell
yeah.
Meg runs production. You just want a bunch of mindless workers who shut the fuck up and do exactly what I say.
I love my entire team.
Yeah, yeah.
And, okay,
Yeah.
they are my children.
Yeah, they all just got triggered really hard if they're listening right now.
I hope none of them watch this. or listen.
One of them just threw up into a bowl.
So the other thing I mentioned, like, I really love how these aliens have like such a great sense of like human slapstick comedy, though.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
when they use their buddy as a battering ram to
Yeah.
like get into the garden, the little garden shed or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Oh,
like-
yeah.
Berries escaped into a garden shed.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good. One of my favorite. I feel like maybe this movie. I feel like in ways was so chaotic that it's kind of like totally hard to like keep on the timeline. But I like
Mhm.
love talking about like the things that were super dope. I think this was a Derek moment where he was battling one of the aliens and somehow he basically destroys him and he cuts off his arm and that guy like somehow the axe ends up in his own head and he's just kind of like has this arm and axe in his head just like flailing it around.
Yeah.
And I find this to be just super entertaining.
Well, they just like I love how it's almost like they did things, whether it be the scene where Derek puts the Uzi through one zombie to shoot through one alien to shoot
Yeah.
another alien or
Mhm.
whatever, or the scene, which I'm jumping way ahead, but like at the end when the house takes off and they like wind up the yard, it's almost like they were like, we have no money, how can we do the most complex shit in the world with no money?
Right.
Like everything they do is so ambitious.
Yeah.
For zero budget, basically.
Right.
Or not
It really
zero
is.
budget. I mean, they ended up getting money for it. But I imagine a
I
lot
feel
of
like
that money from the state and stuff was probably all like for editing and post.
I actually think a lot of it went to making that house take off because that was the and I was
that
just
was
like,
the model, I
wait,
think.
for,
But yeah.
oh yeah, that's fine.
I don't think they made a real house take off.
Man, for as low budget as everything
Meg,
is.
I do not want to spoil this for you. I feel like I'm telling you like something about Santa Claus right now. The house didn't actually take off.
New Zealand's space program has like a history, and like that's like in 1987 we launched a house into low orbit.
Yeah. Peter Jackson is
it was
like
actually
he's
influenced by the Russians.
whatever the New Zealand version of NASA is.
Right.
There's a huge bust of Peter Jackson in the lobby.
Look, you said that this movie inspired Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah.
Well, it also inspired Elon Musk because Peter Jackson was the original privatized
Actually,
space
we're gonna do
program.
a 6 degrees of separation and say that Peter Jackson influenced the creation of Amazon.
Yeah, there you go. How do you say Elon Musk in a New Zealand accent?
Elon Musk.
I'm sitting seriously for 10
really
seconds
great.
going, I have no
Elon
idea.
Musk.
You know what I actually thought? Like obviously, guys, I'm not so dense here. I understand
being an
that I
asshole.
come off a little bit.
No, that's not true.
No, but I was like watching the house. I'm like, okay. But the moment you said it was probably like a model, I'm like, that makes way more sense. Okay. Because I literally thought that maybe somehow they found a way to, like, they have a house.
Well, they did have a house, obviously, and they did do like the smoke pouring out from underneath the house, and like, so they did use a real house for certain scenes. But I think the taking off part was a model.
I'll just go whip myself.
But my other favorite one, Kate, before we get any further, maybe my favorite quote, besides the one that I said at the top of the show here, is, "I'm a Derek. Derek's don't run."
Yeah.
I can't do a New Zealand accent, by the way.
Derek's don't run.
Yeah. It's just
good
to
at
have
it.
so much pride in.
Right.
And I was like, is that a like nomenclature? Is that
a trope?
cultural thing? Like, is Derek like Sheila? You know, the term Sheila is an Australian like slang term for like, I don't know exactly, honestly.
Just a pretty lady.
Yeah, because I remember I met some Australians.
Yeah.
And it was a couple, and me and a friend were there and talked to him. And she was like, her name's She was like, "Oh, I'm Sheila." And we were like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And she was like, I know, Sheila from Australia. And we were like,
we don't get it.
I don't get it. And then they had to explain it to us. And,
Oh,
you have to explain the joke.
yeah. No, I'm dumb as fuck. Sorry.
So talking about Derek a little bit more and some of my favorite things about him. Very early on in the movie, I don't know if you noticed, like the first time you pretty much see him, he basically has a cum stain on his lip. Like,
what is on it? What is on there?
It's just being gross.
It's like just spittle. It's gross.
And then, but
I used
then
to have a basketball coach that always had spittle on his lip.
Yeah, you know, like those people actually have like it on the side of their lips all the time.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I will
I was
literally
like-
turn around and walk away from somebody.
I can't hear about it because now it makes me self-conscious that I just might be doing it.
Yeah.
But also with the quote when I saw that was he's like, I hope I'm not the one who has to clean that up. And I'm like, maybe you should just focus on your face for a second, like for 2 seconds.
And
here.
your Harry Potter
It's
scarf
Doctor
as
Who
well.
scarf.
Yeah.
Doctor
Who scarf.
Whoa.
Okay,
That
all
got
right.
serious.
Fair.
No, I don't care about that show.
Yeah, I don't know
Fucking-
anything about Doctor Who. That came up in conversation the other day. She's like, "Have you ever watched Doctor Who?" I was like, I don't think I've ever watched one episode of Doctor Who.
Another great quote again by Derek. I feel like Derek had a lot of great quotes.
He did for
Peter's
sure.
giving
when
himself the good lines.
When
Yeah.
he that got the alien that I said about got the axe in his head, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Basically Derek's like hanging off a cliff for this, and he says, "Eat lead, sucker," and then just cocks the gun with his foot.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so badass.
I'll tell you the scene of because super gory, super kind of like splatterpunk type of aesthetics in this movie. So very little of it would be like actually. I mean, it's impressive for a low budget, but like it's not believable. It's intentionally over the top.
Oh yeah.
But when the dummy of Derek falls down the rocks, it was actually a really good dummy fall.
It was
bad,
a really
Compared
good.
to like later when they have somebody
When they
else
toss
fall,
the chef?
it's the chef off the like a balcony. It's
Which
horrible.
is hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's terrible.
If you throw a dummy off of anything, I'm gonna laugh. Honestly,
Yeah, I think it's also with the Derek dummy fall, they do some good quick edits. So like I don't think you see the dummy hit. What I think you see hit is maybe an actor hits behind the rock.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Like I think somebody might have done a somersault, like behind
Gotcha.
the
They
rock.
did a couple bounces and stuff like that I think, but yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
edited
yeah.
super
When it's coming,
well.
when it's coming down the cliff, it's
Yeah.
hitting off stuff. It looks good, but I think the final hit might be an actual person kind of doing a front flip onto a mat,
Yeah,
and then you see like they throw up buckets of fucking blood from
Oh,
behind
yeah.
the rock.
gore and stuff. Yeah,
I felt like everything after that moment of Derek falling was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he basically spent the remainder of the movie keeping his head together, and I
Yeah.
feel like this was like always because like the moment
literally, like keeping
literally.
his skull,
Yeah.
his brain inside his skull. Yeah.
he was like and then like the noise he made, he was like, oh god,
Yeah, it was like when
God.
his skull flap fell down.
Oh, yeah.
It was like he was being electrocuted.
Right.
And then he put it back up and took his belt off and actually strapped his head back.
Oh, then he's
together
like,
with his
oh, I'm
belt.
good.
And then he's fine.
he's fine.
I can go use a fucking chainsaw and like cut this motherfucker up.
He's stuffing parts of his brain back into his head, and then he starts stuffing parts of other shit he finds on the ground.
He literally
At one
like
point, yeah,
dead
he's-
seagulls probably were part
Yeah.
of that mix, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got
Fucking
all kinds
the
of who knows what in
aliens.
his head.
Yeah.
It's just fucking I just find it so hilarious. Like
It's
I
a wild
literally
ass movie, yeah.
like I don't know why I enjoy this type of shit so much.
It's because
it's
if
too
I was-
far over the top.
It was
that's
when
why it's funny.
when we were when like me and my friends were 12 making movies in the backyard. If we had access to a bunch of goopy shit and any amount of know-how, like this is the type of movie we would want to make.
Yeah.
Like a couple of like we're badass army guys with Uzis that are also fighting aliens, and there's a ton of blood and gore. Like that would have been the movie. That would have been the elevator pitch
Right.
for our 12-year-old movie.
Right.
You know? And honestly, we would have thrown some wrestling in there. But
and
that's
then
about it.
but we're still home by the time the lights come on.
Yes.
That would have been like your tagline.
Yes. Well, it's we
Because
didn't have
moms
a
would have
light.
watched you then.
And the camcorder, if you don't bring it inside before about 8 o'clock, you're gonna get in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lighting package anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No.
we're not dealing with just the blue lighting or just like
Right,
the
yeah.
sun, you know.
We got the blue light and we got the sun.
I wonder if that was a similar conversation on this. I mean, everything happens in daylight.
Right,
though.
no, this
Yeah.
one was just we got the sun.
We got the sun.
We got the sun.
Plan A and Plan B
Yeah.
is the sun.
Plan A, Plan B, both the sun.
I cannot wrap my head around the difference between a British accent,
Doesn't matter.
an Australian accent, and a New Zealand
Doesn't
accent. They're all Michael Caine to me. I
The
can't
only
do it.
one, the only way I differentiate is you keep your mouth smaller when you do the New Zealand accent. Just have a small mouth.
Yeah.
And then when you do British accent, you go, "Oh, got a big old doodly do, don't I do? Does he does?"
I try to channel Brit from
Yeah.
Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Brit.
and my word that gets me into the New Zealand is Brit.
Yeah, Brit.
Jermaine in Brit.
Jermaine here, Brit. Yeah.
I'm still bad. I can't keep it from more than 4 words.
I refuse to do any accents.
You know what? Probably for the best.
Even my Yinzer one's real bad, so
You're not really from here, so
Yeah.
excuse me.
we heard your
Funny.
stories. I grew up on all kinds of Air Force bases
You
and
are-
whatever around America.
You are not cursed.
You are not from here.
You're not cursed with the Yinzer accent that
You're
comes
not,
out
you're
as soon
not
as you
even
drink.
within, kind of the limit where you work now. You're, in the outers. You're in the
I'm
You
an
know
Pennsylvania.
what?
outer.
Though? I'll tell you
I'm
what.
always an
Some
outlier.
of the
It's fine.
strongest Yinzer accents I've been around are way out in the,
Oh,
in
fuck
the
yeah.
periphery. Yeah.
I agree with that. I definitely meet them still. all the time.
Monroeville,
Yeah.
maybe
Rovers,
is
yeah.
the most intense
Concentration.
Yinzer accent.
East,
Yeah.
I will concur. I will say East is the worst when
Mm.
it comes to Yinzer accents. I will say North, like up our way,
Oh,
might
yeah?
be the second,
Yeah.
and then like
Well, it gets a little more oddly gets a little more Appalachian over
Yeah.
here for whatever reason, and it's like
What does that
my
mean?
grandfather says my grandmother and grandfather talk like Kathy Bates character from American Horror Story Freak Show.
Yeah.
Remember how she talked
Yeah.
in this Appalachian? That's how my
Okay.
they say we're gonna go wash the dishes
Yeah.
and trim the bushes. And,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like that. It's a different level of Appalachian.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy had a great one in The Revenant. His
Oh,
Appalachian.
yes.
He sounded like a West Virginia hill person for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my family
Tom
is.
Hardy.
So okay,
Yeah,
well, there you go.
southwestern Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, hill people. That's 100% it. That's my people.
That's my people.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving along, like I said, we've talked about a lot of random things. So let's just touch on a couple highlights. So we learn about like what the fuck they're doing when we have Giles. So Giles comes to town to collect money, but we already know he doesn't know that anyone's there. Which also another funny thing. Do you remember when Ozzy and Frank are like putting out that sign that says nuclear and contamination?
Yeah.
It's just like such a casual thing. They're just like, man, this is gonna keep people out.
Yeah.
And like we're gonna keep going.
Just more Wile E. Coyote shit.
Driving around in their Mustang, just ripping through. I don't know what they were listening to. I don't know if that was that was probably some sort of New Zealand metal band or something. I don't know.
We're gonna go with it. And then so Giles comes to town. He eventually gets captured by these aliens, ends up in a pond because he's gonna be dinner. Which I also like loved how they like taped the like apple. Like it's like such weird cliche. Like American, like almost like American or like cartoony type.
Yeah,
things.
it's Looney Tunes shit.
It's super.
They
Looney
put the
Tunes.
apple in his mouth. He's like Bugs Bunny in the pot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I did like the scene where his, you know, because the car not starting, classic horror trope.
Mm-hmm.
Not only will his car not start, his window won't roll up
Yeah.
as well. And I'm like, what's the fucking chances? And then he drives like 500 yards with Peter Jackson hanging out of the window with his e-brake on.
Yeah.
And then he eventually, you know, learns to take the e-brake. That was a great scene, though.
We should know a little bit. Wait, I wanted to say because like I feel like the aliens getting real activated with like Derek's character like stabbing Barry or Robert like in the foot and then howling, which again this happens pretty early on, but I think that gets them like really riled up and like these are a threat. We're going to fucking murder them. Yeah, we already talked about Derek falls down. So yeah, in some of his altercations, it's Robert who actually gets him, like knocks him down if I remember correctly. But yeah, so he falls on a seagull's nest, basically. But like what we realize is we think Derek's dead. Too.
Right.
So we already talked about Derek clearly is not
briefly.
dead.
Right.
Yeah,
they're
just like,
oh, poor Derek. And then they're like, anyway, and they just kind of forget about it.
And so he's already touched on like the whole puking scene, but this is when Frank, Ozzy, and Barry, they're like, we need to kill these motherfuckers. We're gonna infiltrate. We're gonna go after this. And they like go in. They disguise themselves, if I remember correctly, and they go in. And also, this is when the aliens start changing their form too. Yeah,
you finally get like some explanation. It's a ways into the movie before you actually get some explanation from the old like leader guy, whatever his name is, Crumb. Lord Crumb. He finally gives him some explanation at this point, and there was a couple of quotes from him that made me laugh out loud because he speaks in a pretty, I don't know if it's New Zealand, but it definitely feels like a little bit more of a proper, almost British accent that he speaks with. And he's like addressing them in this very formal kind of capacity to all the other aliens. And then he's like, I'm sure you'll be pleased to leave this shitty planet. and then after that, he's talking about how like a couple of the other people, aliens or whatever were killed. And he was like, they were murdered by some real assholes. I just was a couple of great.
It's funny just because he spends all this time like trying to also be a corporate head and all that, but that he just adopts like you assume that they're adopting what they've heard as aliens. So it's just it's real like shitty, common speak.
Yeah,
delivered in a very aristocracy kind of accent.
Yes, you're very right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So during this scene, this is like when like I think it's Frank who like hears the plan. They know what they're doing. They're like, holy shit, we need to get out of here and like save everyone. And they do end up saving Giles. They get him out of there.
They do this whole like Rainbow Six shit where they put on all their like equipment and
a whole bunch of shit they ordered like from Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, which they're reading Soldier of Fortune earlier.
I feel like this movie is we talked about this movie being super slow, so I feel like a lot of the details can be like kind of boring in ways. So, but again, I think Derek coming back multiple times becomes like highlights throughout it. And I think at that point he's near the car, and that's when he like pulls off his belt and thinks enough to wrap his head brain into like to keep it on and keeps going. He also then grabs a chainsaw and he like realizes they're fucking aliens, and he runs over one, which I also think was one of like my favorite like body explosion because you watch that body literally move in half immediately, and then I love the way they do like the intestines. And
one of my favorite scenes was right at this point too, which is where Derek goes to his car to get his chainsaw out, and he uses it's a calculator.
It's a fucking calculator
embedded in a piece of wood that they try to pass off as like a passcode, kind of manifold. Sorts. And then it opens up, and it's a beat ass old chainsaw sitting on like red velvet. Like he's created this compartment.
He's
for,
made a
like,
little shrine for it.
his like baby, which is this old beat ass chainsaw. It's just such a. It doesn't make any sense to the rest of the plot. It's just like, wouldn't it be funny if we,
Oh no, I think it's again. It goes into like why this is over the top and hilarious because the moment you see it, you've seen a fucking calculator, you know it's a calculator.
Yeah, it's not even like a nice calculator.
No.
It's like the calculator like my grandfather has on his desk. You know what I mean? It's
is
from
big
the
ass solar powered.
So now we know Derek has a chainsaw for pretty much the rest of the movie, and that'll be his basically plan of attack. But then we get Ozzy has a fucking rocket launcher, fucking like holy shit, and he brings that to the party and starts using that. He knows that there's aliens in Frank's car and blows them up, so at least he got one down, and then he starts going after the house. So again, shit's just like constantly kind of going on. You're just like, holy shit, this is happening, and the aliens are in their alien form.
So can we talk about first? Can we talk about the actual design of the aliens, because it's the coolest part of the movie?
Yeah, do you see their butts all the time?
Well,
I fucking love
they
it.
all have these like uniforms on, and then when they transform and they like get out of, I guess, the Edgar suits, if you will, kind of thing, they have these pointy butts that rip out of the pants.
Cute butts.
And then they have these big, long, almost like. Almost vaguely xenomorph meets like traditional Greys type of alien design,
but like overweight.
Yeah, but then
like
they have these
too
big
much
pot bellies.
birds.
Right.
But they're like scrawny, but they have these pot bellies.
I really want to, after this episode, like take a picture of me like doing an interpretation of how I saw them. Like, because they're just like even just like how they
and
like
kind of
walked.
like waddle. Yeah, they kind of jump
they
back
were
and
always
forth.
just like bent over in ways.
Yeah.
It was just great.
I love the design, and I love that and this might have been where some of those extra production dollars came from. The fucking lips move.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
I was actually surprised, especially hearing how he like was designing them. I would love to dive more into the special effects because they had to do so much on their own. That'd be really curious how that happened.
And because they had to do so much on their own, and I think, again, like this film's from, they said it takes 4 years to make, but it's, 87 and then 4 years back, I guess, if you want to get. But because it's so early, like they're still
that was
developing.
The year of your leader, by the way.
she just looked at us like we should salute her.
Right. It wasn't happening. But it's still pretty early in the kind of special effects realm of film.
Yeah.
So like they invented a lot of stuff. You mentioned the lips moving on the aliens.
Yeah.
But if you jump all the way back to the beginning of the film when Barry caps that guy, one of the coolest things I thought was like that half decapitated headpiece.
Yeah.
That was
also,
really cool
its mouth
too.
also was moving and stuff.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but that was reminiscent, obviously done in a very different way, reminiscent of Cradle of Filth a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Although that was more CGI, like early CGI, and this was practical.
This one was completely practical.
Right.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think like when you're able to like get a little bit more of the background and understand like this is like them, like people who are so young just figuring shit out. I think that honestly sticks a little bit harder for me because that's harder. You have no examples of what to do.
It off. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just like they threw a bunch of bullshit and tried to do something crazy and just like, hey, whatever happens. Like, for the most part, they pulled it off. There's some dumb shit where like off screen, all of a sudden they just throw a bunch of body parts at a wall.
Yeah,
I mean, there's stuff like that.
But that's also comedic in a way. So
yeah.
And also you just got to think like there's no internet to figure out how to do this stuff
Yeah.
either. Because when I was doing my student film, I looked up how to do a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
But I had that resource.
Yeah.
This is you make it up as you go and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that I have like certain weird like soft spot for people who just like can figure shit out. I don't know. It's like makes me happy.
I do love how like the script, there's just a concession in the script that's just like aliens look like schlubby white guys.
Yeah.
Like up to this point, they're like, yeah, they would pick that form,
Right.
or whatever. I guess
That's what they
I
go
guess
with.
they would kind of mimic the people of that area, maybe.
Right.
I don't know, but it's just like it's up until this point. They have just, I mean, we're well over halfway through the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And up to this point, they've just been a bunch of schlubby white guys.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
now all of a sudden they're fucking
Which,
full on
hey,
aliens.
it's a good way to save budget, especially if you plan on blowing up a car and launching a house into space.
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
Yeah, we gotta save our load here. Okay. So, was there anything else you wanted that I might have breezed over?
The only thing
Anything else?
I wanted to touch on, which I guess I'm pretty sure it already happened, but it's like when they're bringing Giles into the house and everything, they introduce that chef character,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that just so reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
'Cause
done
you just get a glimpse of
comedically.
him. Yeah.
You get a glimpse of him, but he whacks him on the head and then drags him into the house. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's like Texas Chainsaw. And then Derek gets his chainsaw. I'm like, oh, it's all Texas Chainsaw.
yeah, heavily influenced by a lot of Western horror
Yeah.
movies of the late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, it's
Which I think it's cool for thinking again about the first how often were you pulling things from the things that saying all of his fucking special effects were influenced by Tom Savini.
Right.
oh yeah,
definitely see the Texas Chainsaw.
and it's funny because this movie, for at times it feels like they're just throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Mhm.
But
Literally too.
Literally and figuratively, yeah. But the kind of choreography and blocking of the whole thing is actually surprisingly intricate. The way they just did a lot of things they didn't have to.
Right.
And they did it with a really high degree of accuracy. When you think about all the different scenes with all the squibs that they used. I mean, there's 10 minutes in this movie where it's just them shooting at each other.
Yeah, it's just all gunfire.
And it's just squibs all over the dirt everywhere and stuff like that. And just the blocking it never looks haphazard. It always looks super intentional.
Yeah.
There was only one that stood out to me where they're in their SAS Soldier of Fortune gear and they're doing the shootout. And I don't even know which character it is because you can't tell when they've got
a ski mask on.
Yeah, they all got balaclavas on. But one of them runs past an alien and the alien is tucked in behind a tree.
Yeah.
So you don't see where he would have got shot.
Yeah.
He's just behind the tree and he gets shot and falls out from behind the tree.
Well, there's also the scene. I mean, and I know they're playing it for laughs, but there's the scene where he's getting shot out from all over and there's squibs all over the ground.
Yeah.
They're always shooting 2 feet in front of his feet.
Right.
And they can never hit him. But eventually he learns that they must be in the tree, so he just unloads a machine gun into the tree, and they all fall out of the tree like it's a goddamn clown car, but they were all hiding in the tree. Obviously that was played very much for laughs, but it was pretty fun. It's just there's a lot of weird performances, but just everything is really oddly, extremely well laid out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was definitely thought out and planned ahead of time. And then also, again, it's the 80s, so you have to edit all of that manually, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit,
it's ugh.
Yeah.
Just
Did you have to do that when you were in film school?
No.
Just at least practice?
No,
or?
we never did the full cut and tape and all that. We never did that. It was always Final Cut or Avid.
Little call out to our 31 Days of Classic Horror. I'm sure I know you're kind of keeping along with it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those super early ones where we see these crazy jumps. It's kind of cool. I feel in ways to watch that, knowing what's really going on and
yeah, that was literally done by hand. Yeah,
Yeah.
Slicing film together and
little,
shit.
slice and dice.
Yeah. So
we were blowing shit up. Is
Yeah,
really
shit's
where
getting
we're
blown up,
fucking.
blowed
This is
up.
where we were.
Did you talk about the Mustang getting blown up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was what
yeah.
I just said. Yeah, so because he was just like, "You blew up my car."
Oh yeah, that was my car. Yeah, this was I wrote down aliens being incapacitated by the power of rock long enough to be blown up with a bazooka is the most 1987 sentence ever uttered.
Yeah,
And it rules.
Yeah.
yeah. And I was.
Did you see that the Mustangs? I'm sorry. Did you see that when he shoots the bazooka, or the RPG, and it's going towards the car, they show the Mustang briefly.
Yeah,
then they cut away, and it's a fucking Pinto.
It's a completely different
not
piece of
notice
shit.
that. That's
it's a
pretty
totally
funny.
different colored.
Yeah.
They're
clearly
we're
a
not actually
fucking
gonna blow
hatchback
this one
Pinto
up.
or something.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's a completely different car, and
Oh,
it's
that's funny. I
it's
had to,
funny
go back
because
and
they
watch.
just zoom out.
Yeah.
They try to cover it as best they can, but it's
That's
a
fucking
super
hilarious.
Yeah.
it's a super quick cut, but it's still enough to notice. It's that's just a real small shitty sedan. That's not anything. It's
Yeah,
It
that's
was
so
it was
good.
like a purple Mustang.
Yeah,
It was so distinct. Yeah.
I also like how, like, in all of that, Ozzy's just like the one who's actually shooting it. It's just like, oh yeah, bro, whatever. Like, he's just so lackadaisical. He just like loves every minute of it. He's just having such a good time.
It's like this is a dream. It's like the whole thing is a dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even the Looney Tunes like cut out his perfect form in the wall with the chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
It's just the whole thing reads like a dream.
Wait, were you just like talking about Derek coming through? Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty much where we were going next, because then basically Frank and Ozzy, they're like, no, we just need to fucking get in there. I want to say Frank does that because he's like, stop blowing shit up. I hate this. You know, that's how he sounds to me.
Great Frank impression, by the way.
You got him.
Classic Frank.
Nailed him.
Classic Frank. Yeah, so they're in there. Let's do this shootout, whatever. And then like Ozzy's like, I'm gonna fight you with fucking my fist, and then he shoots him and whatever. And then we have Derek save the day in ways. He's like, I really like that too, because I feel like that's like a very, again, going back to Peter Jackson, gruesome, like, I just want to make this as awkward as possible. I'm going to get super close up on the shot. I'm going to show this chainsaw going through. You're going to see blood going everywhere, guts going everywhere. Anything that could be inside is coming outside.
Right.
Like, that's what's happening here.
Did we already do the speed bag punching scene?
Oh, I think we're a little bit past it, but yeah, that's definitely like something that happened again in this. It's just a huge montage of like, again, what you're saying. It's what kids would film.
Yeah.
But it was a cartoon thing of like Frank or Ozzy has an alien up against the wall. He's speed bagging his big bulbous head. And then knees him in the balls and takes off. Like,
so I would 100%.
It's so good.
I think the only thing that's like odd, like that, if we were ever talking about, it's probably one of these like nerd conversations. You're like, "Ooh, would an alien actually beat this person up?" And I'm just like, in this scenario, I'm like, they're making these aliens out to be bitches.
Oh yeah,
like
they
super
suck.
easy to
They're
defeat.
super weak. It's fun because they like, and this is a great. There's a lot of movies that are like this, but if you show that you're not taking yourself too seriously, it's very easy for the audience to not hold you accountable.
Right.
But like if they would have started doing this and just played it super, I mean, it would have been a totally different movie because it's comedic from beginning to end. But another similar movie that had similar level of effects would not have landed in the same way or would not have been as well received if it would have took itself really seriously.
I can agree. Right. I totally.
It's almost like a cop out a little bit, but at the same time, like it makes it fun and it makes you, it gives you like license to appreciate the imperfections a little bit of it.
It gives the filmmaker the license to have imperfections.
Yeah.
Because he's just doing things for fun.
Yeah.
And then it also gives you license as an audience member to just have fun with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to go
don't poke holes in it.
Right.
Yeah.
I
don't
think
poke
with
holes in
like
it. Don't
most
turn your
of
nose
his
up
like Splatterfest films, like I just can imagine the writing room where they're like, guys, I have this fucking idea.
Right, yeah.
Check this out.
Oh, that's
like
100%
yeah, and I feel like it would be the most fun, honestly, thing to watch. So we're getting towards the end of the film in theory here. So Ozzy and Frank get out of the house and we see that Lord Crumb's like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Fuck all you bitches. And he starts, basically this house is his spaceship. So he starts sucking everything in. He's like, we're getting, and then I think it was Barry who was kind of still stuck on like the, pseudo, like, was that grass? Like, yeah.
Oh, it's like the AstroTurf.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
that was
the yard
Barry. It was
around
more
the
so,
house turns into the Brady Bunch yard.
I just want to make sure it was Barry.
No, it wasn't Barry. It was one of the two guys in the Mustang.
It was probably Frank then.
Yeah, I think it's Frank or Ozzy. One of them gets shot. And
whatever the shorter
down.
one.
Oh, Ozzy got shot. I know that.
And then Frank pulled him out.
Okay.
Carried him over his back with a giant like fan behind them blowing.
Yeah.
And
basically, we have Derek stuck in the spaceship as it's getting taken off and stuff like that. Lord Crumb checks in with corporate and, to let him know it comes on. And then we start hearing Derek going off with his chainsaw. And Brian, I mean, you already started with a quote. I mean,
oh, yeah. That was.
This is literally, I actually love this entire little montage of like what happens here. He's just like, what is like.
He goes Independence Day on their ass.
Yeah.
Where he's just like. Yeah, he's Cousin Eddie from Independence Day.
Pretty much.
Shithead. Yeah. I fucking love that
Suck
line.
my spinning steel, you sheethid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear Steve say it over here with his.
Suck my spinning steel, shithead.
Yeah, perfect.
He does it with an upward inflection like that.
Yeah. He's like very excited about it. But then he's even more excited when he basically goes through Lord Crumb's body.
Yeah.
I am reborn.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
He basically does like an what I can only describe as a internal 69 position of sorts.
More or
Pretty
less.
much, yeah.
He climbs
That's the best
into
description
through
I've
the
ever
top
heard.
of the alien's head,
Mhm.
Right.
travels through its torso, and then his head comes out
Comes out his butt.
between
Anus
down
of
its bottom.
sorts.
Out his butt.
and then he makes a joke about being
Yeah.
born again.
Yeah.
Which is it's cool and it's funny, but it's also like if you watch that and then you watch Dead Alive,
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
much like a gag that's repeated.
You could
Yeah,
see that like this was where so many of the seeds of those ideas
Mhm.
came from, and these are ideas that he had probably been thinking about since he was fucking 10 years old.
Right.
Right.
And he finally got the opportunity to make a movie, and he threw everything at it. And of course, it was lower budget. It probably had a smaller audience and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And then Dead Alive came around, and he was like, "Now I can do some of these things for real."
Yeah.
Now I
Or
can
not
do
for you know what I mean, with a
Now I
big
can do it bigger and grosser.
yeah, which
Yeah.
that movie is. I mean, widely considered the goriest movie
Right,
of all
yeah.
time, or up
fucking-
there with
oh,
it.
yeah.
There's
so
like
good.
there's hardly any other film that I can think of that gets even close to it, with the
Mhm.
exception of the newer Piranha movies that came out,
Really?
Okay.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
because they turned an entire beach red.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
you know what I just
That's
thought
cool.
about too, because it's not as it's not as splattery guts and gore as much, but like the remake of Evil Dead is very
Oh yeah,
gory.
that's pretty gross. Yeah,
But then
Yeah.
also it literally rains blood.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, so that's like as far as like gallons of blood.
I also
it's hard
think
to
there's
beat
also
raining
this
blood, but-
difference with like a little bit of like newer films going gory versus like older movies, because I think just like the way they do the special effects, I think affects you, like the way you internalize. You're like, this is just way more gross. Like
Yeah,
in
it's-
ways,
Mhm.
you know, it's just
You-
somehow.
it's like the stuff in this movie when I see it, I'm imagining how it smells.
Oh god.
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
oh
and I'm
yeah,
like, oh, that
yeah.
had
There's
to
no
stink.
hiding that at
Yeah.
all,
So
for sure. I'm trying to think of if I missed anything. As
well,
far
now
as
he's
any-
wearing. So then
Yeah,
he,
now
he
he's
basically-
wearing his fucking suit.
Yeah, he's wearing
basically.
his Edgar suit of the alien.
Right.
Yeah.
And the idea is he's going. I assume the idea is he's going back to.
He's going
their
to
planet?
HQ incognito.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like
He
I'm
plans
kind
on
of
killing
sad
them
that there's
all.
I guess
not.
with his brain coming out of the back
I'm
of his head.
surprised he didn't try to do a sequel to this. Though,
Mhm.
in some of my like preparation for this, I caught in like a 2018 article saying that like Peter Jackson would have interest in revisiting his Splatterfest years
Interesting.
Yeah.
in like a more modern way, and I feel like I would be so fucking here for it.
Yeah.
So what year? And I've seen all these movies and I like them, but I'm not like a diehard fan or anything. But like,
Uh-huh.
when did the Lord of the Rings movies, Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings, movies start?
2003, I think, was the first one.
Okay. That's kind of wild that this was like 15 years later. He
Yeah.
went from this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like probably 12 years later,
Yeah.
he started making Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And it-
I just feel like it's like one of those things where it, like you hear about like you watch like you can read about this and then you see like he has two other like basically Splatterfest-esque type films that like they open the door for him, and I
Mhm.
feel like he's just such a fucking intelligent human being that
Mhm.
like he can inject his creativity however he needs to after that point,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, you could give him like a thrift store and say you can just use
Make a
what's
movie
here,
about
make
this.
a movie, and he'd
Yeah.
figure
I
it out.
almost
Figure it out.
genuinely
Yeah.
think though that like these type of films might be like, you know, this is him at play.
Yeah,
I think pretty much any film that he does is him like at play. Like I
Yeah.
think he genuinely enjoys making film. Like, and that's even why he did that Kong remake.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's because he was
Yeah.
so like taken with film
Mhm.
at a young age.
And
Right.
he is like he's one of the most. This sounds like a kind of a generic compliment, but I feel like I'm trying to communicate something that this maybe isn't the right word for, but he's such an imaginative filmmaker.
Mhm.
Like even the Kong remake, which was like, you know, mixed reviews kind of
Yeah.
thing. There are some scenes in that, like the bug scene,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
where
yeah.
they're like in that like gully cavern type of thing with all those
Mhm.
bugs and stuff. It's like shit's kind of fucking terrifying. Like
Mhm.
the CGI of you know, it doesn't hold up super
Right.
great, but like he's just such an imaginative filmmaker, and he's got that gift of like he can see it play out 10 different ways in his brain
Yeah.
before
Yeah, he
brings it to life.
yeah, he can visualize it, and he knows like where he's going to shoot, and he knows like how
Yeah.
it's going to look,
Mhm.
like before it even hits like a storyboard.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So-
as fuck.
Peter Jackson's a goddamn treasure is what
Yeah.
we're trying to say. But
Hearts,
However,
Yeah.
however,
Yeah.
if you want to go further with it, Peter Jackson's also the reason why we have Venom 2.
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
I
haven't
haven't seen
Did
it,
you
but
see
I've,
it?
No, I didn't see it.
I've
It's
heard
just like
it's
whether
pretty
it's
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
whether you like it or not, it's Peter Jackson gave birth to Andy Serkis's career.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis is the director of Venom 2 now. So
Ipso facto. He's responsible.
Bad taste caused Venom 2.
I didn't hate the first Venom movie.
It's all right.
I actually didn't see it.
I'm a sucker for what's his freaking
Tom
name?
Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for Tom Hardy. He's a goddamn hunky boy. I love me a Tom Hardy.
He's a short hunky boy.
That's the second time he's been
he's
brought
a short
up.
King. He's like 5'8".
Let's just talk about. We can keep talking. We can have an episode on Tom Hardy if you want. I'll just like.
I'm blown away. Tom Hardy's only 5'8".
Yeah, right.
I would feel like Tom Hardy's like 6'2".
You would think, but no. Magic of filmmaking. Because if you watch Bronson and you watch, The Dark Knight Rises, you think he's huge, but no, he's a little guy.
They make him look giant, Bronson.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's obviously jacked, but like. Sorry, I'm crushing on Tom Hardy over here.
No, dude, I'm here for it. I want to hear all of it.
So
like, we can just talk about how much we love him for the rest of the night. I have nothing more.
Okay.
This was a fun movie. It's really a fun
You know what I'm
going
to say, guys? You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
You know
it
thank you. I will say thank you to you.
I was a little bit concerned about your texts when I didn't know how to interpret it. I was like, he sounds like he's being real sarcastic with me.
Oh, no, I was just busy. I was like, oh, that's great. Thanks. That's like, that movie doesn't suck. I'm in for it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good.
It's a very fun movie.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it.
This definitely leads us into whoever, and we've got some time until the November Showdown, which, let's recap. What are we doing? We have werewolf movies.
Haunted houses.
Haunted houses.
There
were haunted house.
And we got little baddies.
And
baddies.
Little real monsters. Werewolves. And, of course, haunted houses. So yeah, we'll throw those over on the social media so you can vote on. But whoever, well, no, that's not true, because I was going to say the person who won the month before that, we haven't had a bad one in a while. But no, you gave us Cradle Fear.
Yeah, I gave
it
Cradle
Fear. I don't think any of us have been gentle so far.
This was good, and then I did Head of the Family, which is not too bad.
No,
that's not bad.
It was really good too.
But I feel like next time around somebody's going to go for the jugular.
I feel like you guys you both have like lists of movies.
I have 4 movies that I Uninvited was one of them.
Yeah,
I have 4 more movies that are absolute dog shit.
Yeah,
that. 2 of them would be fun dog shit. 2 of them are more like Cradle of Fear. Actually, but we ended up having a lot of fun talking about Cradle of Fear.
We had fun talking about it, but watching it is
dog shit.
Fucking nightmare time swap.
Watching it was horrifying. So,
in
any case. So, next episode, we will... so, this week, check us out on the social medias. Once again, at Halloween is Forever on Instagram, at Hallow Forever on Twitter. And those are usually where we do our polls.
Yeah.
But also at Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook. And is there a way to do it on TikTok or
not as far as I've seen. Yeah, I mean, we can just like try to get them to.
Listen, I want to reiterate, I'm scared of TikTok. It frightens me, and I don't want to even go on there to count votes because of how scared
I'm
I am.
I'm gonna do a
of
private secret like poll on like what dance I need to get you guys to convince to do.
Yeah, listen. For those of you who don't know Steve and I, gonna go out on a limb here. Not big dancers.
Nah.
Unless I'm drunk at a wedding, then I will definitely dance. But in any case, the last one is it's at Halloween, or at Halloween is Forever Pod is the TikTok. I finally got it right, and Halloween is Forever Pod at Gmail as well. So send us some more suggestions. Vote on that, and next episode we will reveal. And then what, the movie or the one after that, or probably next episode we'll talk about what our
next episode we'll reveal what won the poll,
and then the next one
that will also be our Halloween Kills episode.
Oh yeah,
that'll be really, really fun. So
my fucking mic.
Meg got really, really excited and just grabbed her mic. So spoiler: next week, Halloween Kills is coming to theaters on the 15th of October.
I don't know I think I've told you. I sent you the Halloween themed charcuterie board for you and your wife.
Yeah.
No, I've already sent it. Like, I'm watching Halloween Kills with a couple friends. And like, we're gonna do the Peacock version because we're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Halloween themed charcuterie board. And I'm so excited.
Nice. I can't wait.
I'm setting the scene.
I am counting the hours until Halloween Kills. I can't wait. So our next episode will be our discussion and review-ish of Halloween Kills. So that should be super, super fun.
I think I'm going to rewatch the 2018.
I am going to
too.
I'm going to do that this week. Yeah, me too. So I have not seen it since I saw it in the theaters when it came out.
Right.
So I may think of it because I walked out very thrilled about it, and maybe we'll even do a little talk about that beforehand. So.
Yeah, they're still good in it. It's just like there were some annoying things in it that I hope are removed from. So
I walked into 2018 Halloween with really high expectations and walked out of the theater having really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
not a perfect movie, but I really enjoyed the whole kind of feel and everything of it. And I have desperately tried to avoid spoilers, and I have for the most part because I heard Jamie Lee Curtis apparently threw some big spoilers out.
Yeah, I didn't hear them either, but
I haven't heard them.
No,
and
I
have completely avoided
earmuffs
it.
right
Every
now.
time I see anybody post anything about Halloween Kills, I immediately scroll past it because I don't want anything spoiled.
Scroll.
And I haven't had anything spoiled yet, but I am, just because I did watch the trailer, going in with a little bit of, slightly softer expectations compared to Halloween 2018. That's just me personally, but it should be very fun.
Yeah,
very fun to watch. So,
cool.
Anything else?
No?
Yes. Check out. They called this a movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm on it this week. We're talking Basket Case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Basket
That's
Case.
awesome.
Yeah. It's such a fucking
it's
bizarre,
so
fucked
silly.
up, weird movie.
So silly and fun.
Such a fun one. And I will be on, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, I will be on with Louie and Dave on a Haunted Hangover podcast as well, where we talk about spooky Halloween commercials.
Nice.
So.
Meg, have you done your guest spots yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
okay, we'll promote them when you do.
We have a bunch of them planned throughout October. So you'll see on the social medias, we will post about we are guesting on some other podcasts throughout the month of October. So you can listen to us there and support our friends who have other fun spooky ooky podcasts. Or movie podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
So in any case, if that's everything, I think it is. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Mike.
I'm Steve.
Bye.